Good afternoon y bienvenidos a todos a nuestro Hispanic-Latin American Heritage Month kickoff. Today marks the first day of the Hispanic-Latin American Heritage Month. And at Fuerza Latina, the month of October is dedicated to embracing the achievements, contributions, and culture of the Latino and Hispanic community. Later today, we will meet with Gina Baseca Aguirre, which is of Fuerza Latina's founder and CEO, and she will be speaking with our special guest during our kickoff today. So to kick things off, we have two third-year students who attend the University of Toronto that are eager to share their experience as Latino students here in Canada with you. They will be sharing with us what they love about their Latin American heritage and some tips on academic success. So our first guest is Michele Leon Rosero. Michele is from Bogota, Colombia, and is studying civil engineering. So let's hear Michelle's story and what she loves about her roots.
Hi everyone, my name is Michele Leon Rosero. I'm 19 years old and I was born in Bogota, Colombia. I moved here to Canada with my family when I was 7 years old and I have been living in Brampton ever since. In 2018, I graduated from high school and entered my undergrad at the University of Toronto. I'm currently in my third year of civil engineering studies, which is the discipline that deals with infrastructure, so buildings, highways, anything you can think of that helps the city to keep going. I would say that going into engineering was a little bit intimidating and daunting for me, as I am the first in my family to go to U of T and also pursue an engineering education. But I really tried to not think of it that way, to not let it intimidate me, because I knew I had a support system, my family, going into it. And I know that along the way, they have helped me in a way or another. So I'm really thankful to have my parents, my brother, and my sister. And that is actually what I'm most proud of my Latin American heritage family. I love how close-knit my family is. I love mis abuelos. I love spending time with them, especially during the Christmas time. Thinking back to the joyful vibe, the music, the food makes me really nostalgic, and hopefully I can visit them when it becomes possible. But I would definitely say that family is my biggest pride and joy, and I am super thankful to have them. One last thing I also wanted to mention, and something that I didn't realize sooner, is the importance of taking up space. Having meaningful discussions, having your voice and ideas heard is super important. So I encourage you all to take up space and put yourselves out there, because it is a rewarding feeling. And finally, I'll just mention two tips that have helped me throughout my academic journey. One is to be actively listening in class. So be engaged with the material, ask questions when certain topics aren't super clear to you, or ask after class. Another thing you can do is follow up with textbook or class notes. Professors and teachers usually follow these. So if you're struggling with a certain topic, make sure you revisit your notes, and that should be able to help you and clear up any confusion you might have had. Finally, my last tip is to be more organized. This is not just an academic skill, but actually it is an essential skill in life. Being organized, so whether you use an agenda, your planner, an online calendar, whatever your preference is super important, because especially when you're going to post-secondary education, you start juggling a lot more subjects, a lot more commitments. So it's important to know ahead of time and visualize, hey, I need to allocate this day to finish this task, because I know I won't have time later. And that's it for me. Hopefully these are also helpful to you, and I wish you all the best. Bye, guys.
Thank you, Michele. So I will now pass it on to Gina to introduce our next guest.
Thank you, Ashley.
Hi,
Hi,
Gina.
Ashley. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. We have Sarah Borbolla Garces. She is part of OLAS, an organization of Latin American students. Sarah is from Mexico and is studying criminology and sociology. She would like to share a few words on what it's like to be a Latina and a few studying tips as well. So please, let's play her video.
Hola a todos, my name is Sarah Borbolla Garces. I was born in Querétaro, Mexico, and when I was 6 years old, I moved to Canada. I graduated high school at York Mills Collegiate Institute in 2018, and I started my undergrad here at U of T right after that. I did my first 2 years of university at the Mississauga campus, but after a lot of thinking during my second year, I decided to transfer here to the St. George campus. I did this because I decided that for my career opportunities, I need to be in a place where I was going to live and work at, so I moved to Toronto because of that. So with all of that, I am currently doing my third year, and I'm doing a double major in criminology and sociology. My Latinx heritage is a defining part of who I am because it's my culture, my home, my identity. It's basically my everything. I have had a challenging relationship with my Latinx heritage because I am white passing, and a lot of times I feel like I have to prove to people that I'm Latinx enough, and I find that a lot of people within our community have to do that as well. But the more and more I think about it, the more I realize that there isn't one defining way of being Latinx. Being Latinx, it's what makes you, you. Nobody else in the world is Latinx except for the people that are in Latin America, and it's amazing because we are a community filled with culture, beautiful people, amazing food, one of the most amazing places to grow up, in my opinion. But as long as you remember one thing, as long as you remember that you are your ancestors' wildest dreams, no matter what you do, you're making them proud. So that's what I like to think about sometimes. My biggest study tip is syncing all of your devices. I use Google account for all of my stuff, which is my computer, my iPad, and my phone. I specifically use Google Calendar because that way I can see what's going on in my computer and my phone and my iPad because I forget one of the other things. If you don't do this, it's really challenging to coordinate all of your schedules and all the stuff like when your things are due. So I really, really encourage you guys to do all of that, which has helped me so much during my couple years here at U of T. I also strongly recommend that you guys take full advantage of Office 365, which is offering your tuition at U of T. That way you guys have full access to Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, all of the other Microsoft stuff that is offered by U of T. I personally love to use OneNote, which enables me to take notes on my computer and on my iPad. And it's all synced to each other, so all the notes that I took on my computer are synced up to the notes that I have taken on my iPad, so I can access them at any time. So with all of that, I am very happy to meet you all. I wish you all the best, and I look forward to seeing all of your amazing things that you guys will accomplish. Feel free to contact me anytime, and best of luck for all of you.
Thank you, Sarah. It's good to have you here
Good
with
to
us.
be here.
Well, welcome to our kickoff. And how are you doing today?
Good. It was a good day. It was a little gloomy today, but with all of this going on, I have to be happy.
Absolutely. We're alive, and that's what matters, right?
Exactly.
So, Sarah, I love our culture. I love the different colors of skin that we have as Latinos. So tell me, what is colorism to you?
To me, speaking historically, there's always been colorism since with the casta system that happened and all of that. But to me, because I'm a sociology student, colorism is more of a concept that was made by man. Because in my opinion, we're all Latinos, no matter what you look like.
Exactly.
Like, if you identify you were born Latino, like you love your culture, you love the food, like there is no one way of being Latino.
That's right. And there's a lot of non-Latinos that would love and welcome our culture. So I think we have it good.
We do. I joke around with my best friend, she's Filipino, that we're cousins because our culture is so similar.
Exactly. You're so bright. It's such a pleasure meeting you. And thank you and Chloe and Michelle from OLAS. And we're so proud to have Latina women excelling in academics and contributing back to our community. Keep up the great work, ladies, and all the best in your future.
Thank you
We'll
so
be
much.
back. Thank you. Don't forget October 17th, Go Live TV from 6 to 11. Enjoy a beautiful Latin festival. Welcome back, everyone, to continue our topic about Hispanic-Latin American heritage. Joining us today is Professor Ana Perez-Leroux and Professor Laura Colantoni profesoras en español y lingüística en la Universidad de Toronto. Currently, they are collaborating on a new project on cross-language influence in Spanish speakers in Canada and the US, named How Do Changes at the Level of Speech Sounds Affects How Children Learn the Grammar of Agreement. So here's Professor Colantoni video, and let's hear what she thinks of this project.
Hola, buenas tardes a todos. My name is Lara Colantoni. I'm a professor in the Department of Spanish and Portuguese at the University of Toronto. I want to start by thanking Ulises and Fuerza Latina for giving us this opportunity to start the celebrations of the Hispanic Heritage Month with you. And I apologize for not being with you today, but I'm teaching right now. My colleague and I are here to talk to you about a very exciting new project that we're just starting to develop. The project is about how Spanish, English, bilingual children learn grammar. And if you have kids, you have probably noticed that children have problems with gender, with different verbs. And we're in this new project, what we're trying to explore if the way in which sounds are pronounced in Spanish and in English may be one of the causes of why children have problems developing the grammar. So in Spanish, you know that vowels are very important. In a word like niño or casa, that final vowel gives you a lot of information about the gender of the noun. And in English, those same vowels are not distinguished, are not pronounced. They are pronounced or mostly pronounced in the same way. So we're thinking that it could be the case that children who grow up with both languages may have an interference from English, and English is telling them not to pay attention to those vowels, but Spanish is telling them to pay attention to those vowels. And we actually came up with the idea for this project, teaching to Spanish English bilinguals here at the University of Toronto. We noticed that they're very fluent, that they sound like monolingual speakers, but when they have to write, when they have to recognize those vowels, they have problems. So we want to help children and parents develop and maintain language, the Spanish language. And that's why we're here. We're trying to understand what the causes of these problems are. And we're trying to develop materials to help parents and children to further develop their Spanish skills. So we're here to invite you all, and I'm going to share my screen so you can have the information on how to contact us. We want to invite you all to be part of this project, to send to talk to us, to send us information about your needs, about here's our information, to send us about information of the materials you may need, of the things that we can do to help you. We're developing a webpage. We're putting a bunch of information about the importance of growing bilinguals, the importance of developing both languages. So if you have any ideas of materials, stories, websites, anything that we can help you, we're here to be with you and to talk to you to learn more about your needs. Thank you for your time, and happy Heritage Month.
We really appreciate you, Professor Colantoni, for joining us today. And let's welcome Professor Ana Perez-Leroux.
Buenas tardes, good afternoon.
Buenas tardes, qué gusto tenerle aquí, un placer. We're so glad to have you with us today. I have a few questions for you, Professor.
All right, go ahead.
Teaching is a very demanding, very rewarding profession that can change lives. And how many years have you been changing lives as a university professor?
I'm not going to tell you how much, but since I was 20.
So maybe 5 years ago, right?
No, I started teaching French, not Spanish, in my native Dominican Republic. I was a teaching assistant at the Universidad Autónoma de Santo Domingo. And then I came to North America to study the linguistics of Spanish and psycholinguistics, and then I started teaching Spanish once I moved to the States first, which is where I did my PhD.
Very good. For those students that have not decided what careers to take, teaching may be an option. How did you decide what you wanted to teach, and how did you decide if teaching Spanish would be something that you would like to pursue, and what steps did you take?
Okay, so this is a bit silly. I never wanted to be a professor. I
Oh, really?
student, and being a professor, because I love reading, I love writing, and I love talking about the things I've read. So being a teacher was the closest I could think of that.
Oh, okay.
It's the only job I knew that would actually say, here, you have to go and read a lot. Since I'd rather be reading anyways, that's like it's a reasonable professional choice. My father was a doctor, and we all four of us children at home said, no, we're not going to be doctors, because that seemed such a higher call. And so I'm very happy. I think it's a privilege to find a job doing what you like doing. And
yes, I can tell by your smile that you love what you do. That's wonderful.
I do. It's a privilege. It really is. The students at the University of Toronto are just fantastic. And in fact, people between the ages of 18 and 22, they have a future, and they are who's going to change and shape what's to come. So it's an amazing job to be a university teacher.
And you're part of that change and a beautiful future for them. So thank you for everything that you do, especially in this unprecedented times. You know, it's been a little bit challenging, I'm sure, to teach online and all that. So I hear stories of some of my friends that are teachers, and it's a little bit hard, but we have to keep going, and you guys are doing a great job. So thank you very much for that. Why do you think that it's important to teach Spanish?
Well, there are many reasons, but I would like to talk a little bit of what's really closest to us, which is the bilingual populations in Canada and in North America in general. So we teach Spanish to foreigners, we teach Spanish to English speakers, but we also teach Spanish to Spanish speakers. So
okay.
Yes. So I like the name of your event, Heritage Month, because in the last 20 years, it's an important term in the field of language studies. So we now speak, before it used to be, we called everybody a bilingual, and we argued about who was a real bilingual or not. But we're more sophisticated today, and we have a term called heritage speaker, hablante de herencia. And those are individuals that receive their first language at home, but the first language, the one that is transmitted at home, like a heritage, como transmitir una herencia.
Ya. Como mi español.
Exacto.
Yo vine desde 8 años, entonces para mí es...
Vienen o de nacimiento aquí o vienen temprana edad. Entonces el español es su primera lengua porque es la lengua de la familia. It's the first language, but the is not the language of the majority. So that's the core of our project. We in my field, linguistics, there's been a reckoning of how important heritage speakers are for our understanding of how the two languages of a bilingual live in the mind. So it's a sort of a new area of study in the language sciences, and it's a very, very important one, and it's the one that, you guys are representing here. So, muchos padres y maestros le tienen miedo al bilingüismo, a la gente. They think bilingualism might make school difficult for the child. And nowadays, 2020, we know that this is not true. We know that the bilingual child is not disadvantaged. Bilingualism is not a vector of delay. It is a vector of change. And this is important. And el bilingüismo es diferente. Hay ciertas ventajas cognitivas con ser bilingüe, so there are cognitive advantages to being bilingual. They're small, they're not huge. It's not like your IQ is going to jump. They're small, important advantages. But the language of the bilingual, of the heritage speaker, is not quite the same as of the monolingual. And bilinguals that are heritage speakers have suffered from the comparison because they are told, oh, you're not quite. Well, it's not true. You're different. Just like by the fact that I came here to North America at the age of 21 to start my PhD. Well, I'm a different person because I took that step, right? The immigration. It's one of the biggest step you can say. My children are North American. They are not Dominican, but they're Dominican too. And that's important to understand. So we cannot expect our language abilities to be the same as, because we're not the same as. We are something new and something important. One metaphor I like to share with parents about how to think properly of bilingualism is to think about what is the mind. So in a bilingual child or adult, two languages live together in the mind. So what is the mind? Do you think of the mind as a container, un recipiente, un envase, la mente como un cubo que le echas un poco de esta sustancia, un hecho de otro? Or you think of the mind as a muscle, something you train, exercise, and lets you do different things. If you think of the mind as a container, then you think, oh, if we put a lot of Spanish, there's no room for the English. That's not quite right, right? If you know how to dance ballet and you're also a swimmer, you know two different things, and you're healthy with the combination of both of them. So that's a better metaphor. So that's one thing I would like to tell parents and heritage speakers as well.
That's excellent.
The mind is a muscle. The mind is a muscle, and like an activity, if you spend a lot of time dancing ballet and not swimming, you're not going to get faster in the pool, right? So to maintain para mantener los dos idiomas vivos en la comunidad y en nuestros hablantes de herencia, lo que importa es hablarlo. Entonces, estas actividades en que la comunidad se junta, se promueve, se valora el idioma, se usa, estas actividades son las que le dicen a los niños pequeños, y los niños pequeños prestan mucha atención a la sociedad. Le dicen, mi idioma vale la pena.
¿Y a qué edad usted piensa que es la mejor edad como para que comiencen a aprender el español?
En la cuna.
Ok.
En la cuna. Los niños pequeños aprenden las lenguas más fáciles que los adultos. ¿Okay? Entonces, si las lenguas están en el ambiente, los niños la aprenderán y la utilizarán.
Qué bien. Tengo dos niños en la casa y el uno como que quiere aprender y el otro como que me cambia o sea, le habla en español, me cambia la conversación. Entonces, yo creo que depende también de cada persona, ¿no? Cómo le gusta, si es que le gusta y...
Eso nos pasó a nosotros. El mayor mío, pero había una cosa especial. El mayor mío salió hablando con acento, pero habla muy, muy fluido y muy bien. El menor le dio más trabajo. Pero una de las diferencias es cuando mis hijos se llevan 10 años, están aparte. Cuando en la primera infancia de mi hijo mayor, los abuelos venían todo el tiempo. Cuando nació mi segundo hijo, ya mis padres estaban mayores y no venían con tanta frecuencia y el chico no se conectó igual con el idioma. Entonces yo creo, por eso creo que no es un misterio.
No, y es importante que aprendan 2, 3 lenguas, ¿no? Porque para el futuro de ellos es supremamente importante. Sí. Tengo unas 2 últimas preguntas. What do you enjoy most about beautiful Hispanic-Latin culture?
Ay. Bueno, yo soy lingüista, quiero decir que me gusta el idioma en todas sus manifestaciones. Me encanta la literatura. Me encanta creo que la ficción narrativa en América Latina es apabullantemente hermosa y es un gusto. Yo creo que si no hubiera crecido hablando español, lo hubiera estudiado para poder leer ciertos autores.
Es muy rica, ¿no?
Sí.
Nuestra lengua. ¿Y cuál es su favorita palabra en español?
Mira, me gustan todas.
A mí también. Creo que
Diccionario a mano.
nuestro idioma es tan hermoso. Me encanta que se puede usar palabras diminutivas para demostrar tu afecto, ¿no? Entonces, eso no hay en todas las lenguas, ¿no? Y qué hermoso. Any words of wisdom in Spanish to students or parents that are watching this today?
Bueno, aquí estamos para servirlos. El departamento ha tratado en los últimos años darles la bienvenida a los muchachos de herencia latina, crear cursos que les sirvan a sus necesidades específicas. To the young people, you guys, these are very, very challenging times. The world, we all feel that the world is about to change. And may you have the wisdom to see what the right path and to do better than previous generations.
Oh, that's beautiful. Very touching. And good luck with your project. I think it's amazing. We're going to put the links on our website so that people have access to it, because I think it's very important what you're doing. I applaud you. Sorry?
Yes. No, one of the things we want to do is to disseminate some of the materials we've been creating along with other organizations such as Latinos in Toronto, which are designed to support parents that have questions about bilingualism.
Yes.
We have a very nice brochure, so we're going to put all of that in the website. And
excellent.
Doing some focus groups, trying to get some information about what the parents who are raising heritage Spanish and Portuguese speakers want academics to do for them. Like what can we offer?
Okay. Thank you very much. It's been a privilege meeting you, and thank you for your time and your insight on our Spanish language. We'll take a break now, and thank you. Have a good day. Welcome back from the break, everyone. Our last guest today is singer and songwriter Ana Lia. She's a beautiful, bright Dominican-Canadian artist whose music is a blend of pop and Latin rhythms. She is the lead singer of the well-known band Santerías. This year also we are thrilled to have her in our Von Latin Festival 2020. Ana Lia, welcome. Thank you for coming with us.
Hola, muchísimas gracias por tenerme. I'm so happy to be here.
Qué gusto. I have a few questions for you.
Yeah.
What is the most gratifying moment you had from one of your fans?
Oh, wow. I love that question. Honestly, probably most gratifying moment is whenever a fan has approached and said that I either made them cry or I reminded them of some special moment. Because to me as an artist, I think that music should be that. Music is like a vessel in order to like tell stories and express and unite us. Because in the end, by you relating to what I'm singing, it means that it creates a common denominator as humans, you know? So I love that about music. And I think that whenever fans say that they, oh my gosh, thank you. Like you wrote exactly how I felt, like things like that. To me, that's like a massive compliment. So probably that.
That's awesome. We're living in unprecedented times. How do you think COVID has impacted the music industry?
Well, major, right? I mean, the lack of not being able to do live performances with live audiences in person. Because like, thankfully we have internet and we can do those live streamed, and thank goodness for that.
Thank God for that.
Yes. But there's definitely the void of live performance with live audience and that vibe off from each other. And a lot of us, our income does depend on that more than anything else. So that has been tough. I'm more grateful than ever that I'm in Canada and that we have some sort of help, because otherwise I don't know how we would be doing. But I think that's the way it has affected us most. But it's not all bad. I mean, for me personally, I think taking the time apart and just being home, and like I said, because we are in Canada and thankfully we've gotten some help from the government, I've used that time to write more music, record more music, and just be more creative, because we're always wishing we had more time to do other stuff. So now that we have it, we're like, okay, well, let's do it. So
It was kind of forced upon us, but I
it
think
was,
in a way we welcome it because we needed some type of downtime for all
yeah,
of us,
yeah,
the time for our
absolutely.
families. And yes, you're a talented singer and songwriter. I really admire you.
Oh,
And
thank you, Gina.
you recently released an album or a
A
single,
single, yes,
a
a
single.
single,
I'm thinking
yes.
bigger for you.
No, it'll come
Abul,
eventually. Abul.
absolutely. Abul, what inspired you to write that song?
Okay, so for starters, abul is a Dominican slang word that we use to say adios. It's an old school
Ah,
thing. Yeah, yeah. So it's something that my dad would say, like to his friends. Like he'd be like, "Okay, well, nice to see you guys, abul." Like it would be like a way of
oh,
saying goodbye.
I thought it
So
was a name of a person. I looked it up
no,
and
well, apparently, in some parts of Middle Eastern, it is a name. So
yes, yes, I was reading that.
I found out about that recently, and I was like, "Oh, that's funny." A friend of mine was like, "Oh, my cousin's name is Abul." I'm like, "Oh, well, go figure." No, in my case, it's a word about goodbye, saying goodbye. So I wrote the song. When I write music, I usually write to like vent. Often,
Of
it's a way of
course.
for me to like let things out. And um, Abul came out of a frustration I had with a former friendship. Actually, it's not even about a love or relationship. Some people think it is, but it's not. It's actually about a friend. But I purposely didn't want to include any gender in my song so that people could relate to it as they did. There's no
Perfect.
mentioning of
Yes.
she, he, they, them. Like it's like
It's
you
for
listen to it
everybody.
and exactly, and whatever you identify with, like, do you relate? Is it about your boss? Then perfect. So I wrote it about that, about a person who obviously wasn't giving me their time of day anymore, and I was like, why am I doing here? It's like having an epiphany and realizing that you're wasting your time and that you should love yourself a little more and just leave that person behind, not wishing them bad. That's why in the song I say, te dejo que vayas con Dios, like I let you be with God, like not wishing you bad, but just like not in my life anymore. Thank you very much. So that's why I wrote that song.
In my opinion, who can possibly be bad to you? You're such a wonderful,
Thank you.
warm, caring person. So
Thank you.
I think they lost a lot on your friendship with them.
Oh, thank you. So beautiful. Thank you. Well, hope they're listening.
What can the audience expect from your performance on this year's One Latin Festival,
Yes.
October 17th?
Yes. So I'm super excited to be part of the Von Latin Festival, October 17th. Like Gina said, I'm going to be performing live Abul for the first time, yeah. So that's going to be
That's
exciting.
amazing. What a great honor for us.
Yes, yes, I'm super excited, and I hope people love it as much as I enjoyed being in it. And I'm gonna do two covers of artists that I also admire and feel like have added a ton of culture into Latin music. And Juan Luis Guerra obviously is one of
Oh,
them. I had
yes.
to include
Yes.
him, and then one more modern, which is Camilo. So you guys should tune in and check it out.
Absolutely. It's going to
Yeah.
be amazing. What is it like to be Latina in Canada for you?
To be a Latina in Canada, honestly, I love it. I love being a Latina in Canada in many ways, and in some ways, it's been a challenge. Let's talk about the ways it's been. I've loved it. I find that people have an appreciation in Toronto for different cultures, and I remember when I moved here, telling people that I was from Dominican. People would be like, "Oh, Dominican!" Like it was this excitement. I was like, "Oh wow!" Like I never thought it was that cool to be from Dominican. Yeah, so they made me feel pretty cool about my even though I was already proud of my heritage, but I realized that there's an appreciation and a respect here too, and I really like that about Toronto. Most people I've met, at least. And then challenging wise, um as a singer, actor, and songwriter, I've faced many challenges. For example, getting seen in the media. Like it's way harder for me to pitch my song Abul to Anglo radio stations in Canada because it's in Spanish, and to them it's like, oh, we don't know what to do with that. So it's been really challenging in that aspect. And
Wow, I'm
yeah.
surprised.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like we're still a few steps behind on that, on inclusion when it comes to Latino representing on TV, Latino representing on Canadian movies, on radio.
Right.
Like, how often do you listen to radio? Like now, thankfully, every now and then you hear like J Balvin or Maluma coming up in there, but like still, there's a lot of local Hispanic artists that would like to be on the radio here, and doors haven't opened. So I've faced those challenges, and we're working towards taking that wall down. But yeah, it's a bittersweet thing, but it's sweeter than bitter, I will say.
Well, with your beauty and your talent, I think you'll make it very soon, and the whole world's going to know about you. Thank you, Ana Lia, for joining us today, and thank you for singing so beautiful and bringing music to our lives.
Oh, it was my absolute pleasure. Thank you, Gina.
Abul.
Abul.
Gracias a todos por este momento que nos han brindado y felicidades a todos los latinos, hispanos en este mes de la hispanidad. Que Dios les bendiga.
Tune in to the 2020 Vonland Festival, which we broadcasted live on October 17th at 6 p.m. on Go Live TV and Fuerza Latina's Facebook Live. So this concludes our Hispanic-Latin American Heritage Month kickoff. Muchas gracias a todos nuestros invitados especiales. And this month, Fuerza Latina will be hosting several lead-up events to the 2020 Vonland Festival. These events include the Sabor and Spice Latin Cuisine on October 2nd, Kids Zone on October 7th, Sonidos on October 8th, and a little taste of the Vonland Festival on October 10th. So, feliz mes de la herencia hispana latinoamericana con amor de Fuerza Latina. Hasta pronto.